Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, Max. Dash positive, dash positive.
My bad, guys. I just realised my mic was muted. Absolutely horrendous stuff. But yes, welcome back and welcome to the Esports Masters League here for round number 3 of the Academy tier. We're going racing tonight at the Suzuka International Racecourse, and of course the only figure 8 circuit on the calendar. As we look at the track, it is 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right. The 5.8 kilometer, 3.6 mile in length circuit. So many tricky corners going up through the S's towards Dunlop Curve, and then of course into the Degner corners, and of course the hairpin leading out of there. Good traction will get you a nice little run in towards Spoon Curve, and of course on the exit of Spoon to really launch yourself down in towards 130R and then into the Casio Triangle. Unfortunately, it is just me here tonight, going to be taking you through the action as your solo com. Of course, my name is Ivor Bryn Mike, and I will be your sole commentator for this evening. Well, last week, unfortunately, there wasn't a stream last time out, and I believe, if I remember correctly, and I get the final podium positions from last week up, and we can see that it was Soapbox or WOR Academy who took victory ahead of ET8 Oscar, who was joining him on the podium along with his ET8 teammate in Lifeboat. So it was a double podium for the ET8 drivers, and of course Soapbox taking the win for WOR. What has that done in the standings, I hear you asking? Well, let's have a little look at the standings, shall we? As we go through, we can see ET8 there getting a healthy lead in the standings. Of course, running away with it so far, so to speak. Obviously, a 21-point gap, very healthy this early on in the standings. And of course, we have WOR Academy trailing on 97 points here in second place, and our development coming in on 77 points with 57 points for the IRT Academy. And then, of course, we got the GL Academy all the way in 5th place. The last of the teams down in 5th on just one singular point. And, of course, it's not going to get easier from here tonight. They're going to fall even further behind because, of course, they have not fielded a driver here tonight, which is unfortunate as it just means that there's more points than everyone else out there. So, of course, we are going to be going in with only 12 drivers here tonight. So, representing IRT, we have Seb and Mika in the Red Bull Racing, and, of course, Casper in the second Williams car. For ET8, we got Lifeboat and Daniel in the Mercedes, and, of course, in the first Williams car, we have Cairo. For WOR in the Alfa Romeos, we have Fraser and Jimmy, and of course we have Oshin in the Haas F1 car. And of course for NLR Development, we have Liam in the McLaren, and of course Miguel and Giovanni in the Aston Martins. And of course, along with that, let us also have a look at the point system, just so you guys can see everything that is going on. And of course, looking at the point system, 30 points for a win, 25 points for second place, 20 points for third, 17 points for fourth, 15 for fifth, going all the way down to 19th place where you get one singular point. But of course, only 12 drivers here. As long as you see the checkered flag, you're going to be collecting a minimum of 8 points. And those 8 points could be very crucial come the end of the season. So important to make sure that you do have those points all tallied up. Of course, looking at the calendar, so of course tonight we are at Suzuka, round number 3. Of course, next week we will be going to Spa-Francorchamps, but that is in a week's time. We're going to be focusing on the track here tonight in question, which of course is Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix. And the drivers are in the beginnings of qualifying now, so I think there's no better time than to go ahead and jump on over to the action out on track. So let's go ahead and jump on over. The first one out on track, I believe, is... Let's get everything up. We have a Alfa Romeo on track, which of course is going to be Oshin. So Oshin going to be the first guy out on track, and In terms of the lineups, I believe there was a small change in the lineups, which is a little bit unfortunate and bringing a bit of attention to the stream. Apparently, I'm a little bit quiet, so I'm gonna have to turn up this microphone just a little tad. So hopefully, everyone will be able to hear me a little bit better. Hopefully, that is all good now, and everyone can hear me perfectly fine as it is now. But yeah, currently on board with Oshin, who is the lead car out on track. And we're going to see how he gets on. Of course, the figure of 8 circuit, the only one on the F1 calendar, home to many fantastic races in the past, not only in real life, but of course in terms of league racing as well. So I'm assuming this one will be just as exciting, as we'll ride on board with Oshin as he takes us on a full lap of the 3.6 mile, 5.8 kilometer circuit as he comes through the final corner to get us underway here. DRS wide open on the run down in towards turn number 1, where of course we should be seeing plenty of overtaking action down into turn 1. Not getting close to the curbs on the inside, staying away from them altogether, coming through turn 2 now. And now into the meaty part of the first sector as we climb up the hill through the S curves. And of course, on the exit of the S's, we have Dunlop Corner as we fly up the hill through the left-hander and now into the Deckners. On the 31.1 in the first sector as we go underneath the bridge and head towards the hairpin now. Breaking down into the hairpin, third gear, the gear of choice for Oshin. All about traction out this corner here because you can really get a good run on drivers heading towards Spoon Curve. Now Oshin needs to pick out his braking and his turning point here for Spoon, and it is a pretty decent Spoon curve there. Obviously just drifting a little bit off the apex in terms of the exit, but a good exit nonetheless. 1 minute 10.4 in the middle sector. We come through 130R, and of course running now to the Casio Triangle, as it is all about how you take the start of the Casio Triangle, which will determine your exit. But pushing here, crossing the line, it's going to be a 1:27 flat to get proceedings underway, and it's immediately beaten by Lifeboat by 0.6 of a second. Seed going there with a 27.5, Caio up into P2 with a 26.8. Currently on board with Giovanno here for NLR, coming through the middle sector. It's a 10.4, so there or thereabouts with the likes of Oshin and Miguel. So let's see if Giovanno can attack the Casio Triangle and get himself up the order. We're seeing a lot of 27 flats coming in. Will Giovanno breaking into the 26s across the line, and it's 26.9 for Giovanno. Daniel now to the line himself. He is going to come through the Casio Triangle here, and decent bit of traction in the second phase, but it might have just cost him a little bit, and he does cross the line to take P2, so he's on the front row with his ET8 teammate right now. As we got Mika in the Red Bull crossing the line, and he is going to be P10. So first runs are done here in qualifying. Lifeboat currently is the man on top right now with a 26.4. Just ahead of him, just behind him is Daniel, his teammate, by 0.08 of a second with a 26.5 there for Daniel. Then a decent, almost 3/10 gap back to ET8 Cairo. So it's an ET8 1-2-3 right now, which is fantastic for them in terms of the standings. And then of course we got the NLR pairing of Giovanno and Miguel in P4 and P5. We have Oshin in P6 for WOR, and then of course Casper for IRT in P7, Liam for NLR in P8, and then of course we got Seb and Mika in P9 and P10 for IRT, and then of course at the back we have Fraser, who made a horrendous mistake on his laps. He's done a 150 9.5, and of course we have Soapbox yet to set a lap time here. Of course, the tyres available for the drivers here tonight: the C3 soft compound tyres, the C2 mediums, and the C1 hard compound tyres, and of course a set of intermediate and wet weather condition tyres. Of course, the intermediates and the reds, which is wondering if we are going to be seeing any wet conditions around here, because it is a possibility that we do get some wet weather around Suzuka. It is not out of the question. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, that is for sure. Who we got in the chat right now? We have Maze in the chat, letting everyone know there's 2 team spaces available in Academy, and that is absolutely correct. There are 2 team spaces available here in Academy, so if you do have an Academy team and you want to see what they can do against these 12 fantastic drivers, of course representing 4 fantastic Academy teams, make sure you go ahead and hit up Maze either through Discord or hit up the Esports Masters League Twitter, or X as it's called now. And of course we got James Head in the chat as well. Of course James going to be taking you through the action in F1 later tonight, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And of course F2 as well. Both races going to be on at 8 PM to see the pinnacle of the Esports Masters League. 8 PM is the time to tune in. Fortunately, from the sounds of it, it looks like the microphone issues is all sorted now, which is absolutely fantastic. Of course, everyone now out there on their second runs, and of course we are going to see Soapbox out there on his first run in the session, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I know Soapbox to be a pretty quick driver, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fares here tonight. Of course, Lifeboat and Daniel, I've commentated over this exact race before, and I was treated to arguably the best race I've ever seen in terms of league racing. So I know these two are very good around Suzuka. And Daniel has very good race pace around here, so we have to keep an eye on him in the race. Miguel, though, going to get us underway here for the second run of qualifying laps. DRS wide open as we run down in towards turn number 1. Very key to get the angle right as you come through turn 2, because you can get a little bit too much onto the exit curb and lose a healthy amount of time, and even lose the car as well. As you go through the S's, it's important to attack the corners but not get greedy on the curves, because the curves will chew you up and spit you out. But first sector split as we come through Dunlop curve, and it is going to be, it's over a 10th and a half up on his previous lap time. And of course we come through the second Degner. Car getting a little bit loose on the exit there, but is all kept together by Miguel as we go through the hairpin and now heading towards Spoon Curve. The entry is important here in towards Spoon, but probably the more important corner is the exit, because you really need a good launch, as that is just not a good launch. As you see Miguel there just understeering a little bit wide, and of course that will, unfortunately for him, mean that he will not be able to get a valid lap on the board this time around. Well, Fraser looks like he's going for an installation lap before going for a flying lap, so we'll come back on board with Fraser in about a lap's time. Seaber's getting out of the way there. We do have a Aston Martin of Giovanno, and he is 2 tenths up in the middle sector. Will the NLR development driver get himself onto the front row? He needs a good Casio triangle to do so as he comes through the Casio triangle now. To the line will come Giovanno for NLR. Will he get himself onto the front row as he crosses the line? And it's P3 for Giovanno, 26.7. But Lifeboat in behind improves on his time as he sets a 26.433. So he improves on his lap time, but not by a huge amount. Soapbox here, crossing the line. He is gone up into P3 as well with a 26.7. Just 100ths of a second ahead of Giovanno's lap time. As Casper across the line, it was a 2/10 improvement from Casper up in the P6. Liam there up in the P7 there into the 26 as well. No front wing for Cairo, so Cairo really pushing the limits of his car. And the same with Sebia, both of them with no front wing. Mika to the line, and he's going to come through. It's a 2/10 improvement, 27.4. Needs to find more time though. Fraser now through Spoon on the exit now. He was 3.5 tenths up in sector 1. Let's see what the middle sector split is going to be saying for Fraser as he comes through now. Is 12.8 seconds up on his previous lap time. That puts him into the similar kind of region as Seba Mikael, but unfortunately for the previous runs that he's done, he's not really been able to set the lap times alight, but this time he does cross the line with a 26.7, gets himself up into P5. So good going there from Fraser. So second laps in the bag. We got just over 5 minutes to go in the session. Lifeboat leads the way on a 26.4. Daniel currently on a 26.5. Joining him on the front row is an ET812 up the top end. Then of course we got the WOR driver of Soapbox ahead of the NLR development driver of Giovanno. WOR Fraser in P5 with ET8 Cairo in P6. IRT's Casper in P7 with NLR development Liam and Miguel in P8 and P9 respectfully. And then of course we got WOR's Oshin in P10, and of course the IRT pairing of Mika and Seb in 11th and 12th. Was Fraser going to be coming back into the pits, as is Casper. So we'll stay on board with Miguel, who of course we did see just overstep the boundaries in terms of the track limits early on, and that did cost him massively. So this time, let's go completely on board with Miguel, and actually let's have a silent lap from Miguel in terms of the commentating over it. Let's see how Miguel approaches this lap right now. So coming through to start us underway, TRS wide open. We'll leave you on board with Miguel. Well, there we go. Miguel with a fantastic improvement there of 2.5 tenths, gets himself up into P7 ahead of the IRT driver of Casper. So a good lap there from Miguel. Apparently, from what I'm being told, there's a sound glitch on the cars. It sounds fine for me. I mean, I got the audio coming back from my ears. It does sound fine for me, so I am not sure what's going on right there. Yeah, just under a minute to go in the session. Giovanni going to be the first man to set a lap time here at the end of the session. Of course, he will be followed by Oshin, so we'll make sure we are ready to jump on board with Oshin as soon as Giovanni crosses the line. Giovanni now coming through the S's up the top of Dunlop curve, and of course the first sector split was the same for the NLR driver. And it is, oh, he's six times down. Absolutely thrown it away in the first sector, which is so easy to do in the first sector. It is so crucial to get your lines right through there. And right there, what we saw from Giovanni is the absolute key around this circuit. If you mess up the first sector, you've got no chance. As Oshin now through the middle sector, coming towards Spoon Curve. Let's see how Oshin approaches it now. Good traction on the exit for the WOR drivers to come to the middle sector split. What's it going to be for Oshin as Lightbout is retired from the session, so no improvements coming from Lightbout. 2 tenths up for Oshin. This could just about get himself up there with the likes of Cairo and Miguel, unless he can find more time in the Casio triangle. Coming to the line now is Oshin for WOR. And he'll go 2.5 tenths up, but it gets him up in the P8 here. As we got Cairo now to the line. 3 tenths improvement in the middle sector. As Cairo goes up onto the front row. 1/1000th of a second slower than his teammate Lifeboat. So very close between those two. Daniel well off his time. As we got Soapbox 2 tenths up. Can Soapbox or WOR get himself onto the front row and break up this ET8 dominance here? Big snap of the car through the Casio triangle for Soapbox. He comes to the line now. What's it going to be for the WOR driver? And he has lost all his time in that final sector. Fraser in the middle sector, 10.5 up. This could get him up into P4 for WOR ahead of Soapbox, who unfortunately just made a bit of a mistake in the final sector, and of course that did cost him everything. But here comes Fraser now to the line, and he lost all of his time in the final sector. Casper not on a lap, Mika crossing the line, and of course we've got Sieb who is on an invalid lap. So that is the end of qualifying here. And a bit of I can't lie, obviously the final runs in qualifying, I think obviously Cairo being able to find the time, and everyone else seemed to just kind of fall away at the end of the session, allowing Cairo, Lifeboat and Daniel to sit pretty there in first, second and third for ET8. Of course, waiting for Casper to retire from the session, and of course we're running through the qualifying order for the race coming up. Of course, it is ET8 sitting pretty out on top right now with a 1, 2, 3 first row lockout for ET8, and of course P3 for them. So we're running for the order. Is Lifeboat, who takes pole position by 1/1000th of a second ahead of his ET8 teammate in Cairo, who will join him on the front row. And of course we've got Daniel, the third of the ET8 drivers, completing a 1, 2, 3 here in qualifying for ET8. He is less than a 10th off Lifeboat. Then of course we've got Soapbox, WOR in P4 with Giovanni for NLR Development in P5. WOR Fraser in P6 with NLR Liam in P7. Followed closely by his teammate Miguel in P8 for NLR. And then of course we've got Oshin for WOR in P9. And of course the IRT trio of Casper, Mika and Sieb in 10th, 11th and 12th respectively. And unfortunately for IRT, they are going to be starting from the back of the pack. But of course, the interesting thing with starting from the back is that as long as you can avoid the carnage early on in the session, you should be good to get yourselves through. I can't lie, guys, the weather is looking a bit overcast, so we could be getting some changeable conditions in this race. It does look dry to start with, but we could be getting some wet weather conditions. Once again, I'd like to remind everyone of the current standings here in Academy. It's of course ET8 who lead the way on 118 points, 21 points clear of WOR Academy. Our development 20 points back off WOR, and they are on 77 points. And it is 57 points for IRT Academy. Of course, GL Academy, I believe, have dropped out. So, yeah, it was just a 1 point collected for them. And of course, we do have space for 2 more teams. If you do have an Academy team and you want to see what they can do against this grid, make sure to get them signed up. And a quick reminder now of the point system here in EML. So there is the point system: 30 points for a race win, 25 points for second place, 20 points for third, 17 points for fourth, 15 points for fifth, 14 for sixth, going all the way down to 1 point, which is for 19th place. But of course, given that there's only 12 drivers, as long as you see the checkered flag, you're guaranteed a minimum of 8 points, and those 8 points could be crucial. But let's head back to the race right now, because it is 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway here for the 3rd round of the Esports Masters League Academy Tier Championship, as Giovanni around the outside of Cairo, who's had a horrible start early on, dropping from P2 all the way down to P4 momentarily, but he does get a better run out of turn 2 as we got, is that Liam and Casper side by side in the SS, and Oshin there as well. Contacted between Mika and Liam, and that's a reset the track from Liam right there, caught on stream. Not what you want to see early on, but my god, very brave overtaking maneuvers in the S's early on, and that is not something that we are used to. As we got Fraser and Casper there side by side into the hairpin. You had Miguel in the background also on a little peak. As you got Giovanni now all over the back of Cairo for the final spot on the podium. Giovanni now needs a good run out the spoon. Let's see if he's going to get it. Oh, a little bit of a snap at the rear for him, but meanwhile Casper on those soft tyres going to get through on Fraser as we look around the outside for 130, and he's going to just about get ahead of Fraser. So Casper making moves on those soft compound tyres, but runs deep into the Casio triangle. It's going to allow Fraser to come back at him. Through the final corner they go, side by side, wheel to wheel, as they cross the line to begin lap number 2. Lifeboat leads the way ahead of Daniel. Cairo in P3 as we got Casper now settling just ahead of Fraser for P6. Obviously we've got Giovanni P4, Soapbox in P5, then of course Casper in P6, Fraser in P7. P8 going away of Oshin at the moment, and of course we've got Miguel in P9, and of course Sebe in P10, and of course the incident between Liam and Mika, leaving them down in 11th and 12th place respectively. Meanwhile Daniel losing out a lot of positions here, and I think he's gone a little bit wide on the exit of the Dunlop curve, and that has cost him multiple positions, as here is Giovanni now on the back of Cairo for P2, as Casper on those softs still making moves, trying to get himself up the order as quickly as possible. Daniel all over the back of Giovanni here. Needs to use a bit of ERS if he wants to try and get through, but you got Casper on a fresh set of soft tyres in behind, of course, potentially looking for a move down the inside in towards the Casio triangle. Is he going to go for it? He is going to go for it. He's going to outbrake, and a little bit of contact there with the rear wheel tyre of Giovanni, and Casper loses a bit of time there. But of course, fastest laps coming in left, right and centre. Casper, even with that half moment, does set a new fastest lap of the race, but he's going to be overtaken by Soapbox around the outside of turn 1, but he will have the inside line for turn 2, and he'll retake that position. So Casper holding on to P5 as Fraser and Oshin there trading positions for 7th and 8th respectfully, as you got Miguel in the back trying to make his way through as well. Giovanno still very close to these guys as it looks like Casper getting a better run out of Dunlop curve. Does get that move done on Daniel. Unfortunately, wasn't able to quite see it. Camera angle was a bit rude to us right there. They want to show us the battle, but we'll stay on board with Casper right now because he seems to be the man on the mission right here. He'll try and get himself up the order, get himself as many positions as possible. As Casper makes a move on Giovanno up into the final podium position, goes the IRT driver as he looks for a move on Cairo as he comes through the Casio triangle. Now it's all about the exit here. He is on the soft tyres, so let's see if we can get this move done. And he will get this move done because he is going to be using his ERS battery to try and get this move completed before the break-in through turn 1 and 2. Job done there for Casper. Now he's on the back of Lifeboat for the race lead. Meanwhile, Miguel and Fraser duking it out for P8 and P9. Let's see if Casper will get close enough over the course of this lap to potentially go for a move on a Lifeboat here. Casper not quite close enough. We've got Daniel closing up to Giovanno. And Daniel get through on the NLR driver. Alexander in the chat trying to check my pronunciation. I said Cryo. Cryo. There you go. I pronounce it how I read it, as Lifeboat has been overtaken by Casper into turn 1. Job done there for Casper as Giovanno over the back of Cairo into turn 2. No move yet for the NLR driver as he comes through the second decker underneath the bridge and into the hairpin. Giovanno does look like he does have a bit of pace to try and get through on the ETA driver ahead, but just not getting the runs up these corners that he really needs to get through on Cairo. And that is going to hinder him massively. Daniel, you're getting very close to the back of Giovanno as well. These three drivers are beginning to bunch up with each other. And if you are ET8, you kind of want Cairo to hold up Giovanno a little bit to give Daniel a bit of an opportunity to get through here. As Casper has been re-overtaken by Lifeboat with DRS. So Lifeboat back into the race lead. Maybe an early sign that those soft tyres are beginning to fall off. Lap 6 of 27. Lifeboat leads the way ahead of Casper in P2. Cairo in P3 with Giovanni in P4. Daniel in P5. Soapbox in P6. Oshin in P7. P8 going the way of Fraser. Miguel in P9. And of course Sieb rounding out the top 10. And of course 9 seconds back we have Mika and Liam in 11th and 12th. Cairo not close enough, and Lifeboat really pulling away now in the middle sector. Almost had that 1 second window that he needed to break DRS, so definitely a sign that these soft tyres are beginning to fall away from Casper. As Lifeboat sets a new fastest lap of the race. I won there 30.5. Actually, did I say Casper? I meant Lifeboat. Lifeboat set the new fastest lap. Of course, DRS is going to keep Casper in touch with Lifeboat as close as possible. It's going to be about when Casper comes into the pits and how long can he go on those tyres before it's completely unterrible for him to continue on them. The race beginning to calm down here as Oshin gets a big rear end snap coming through the hairpin, costing him a bit of time to the cars ahead. Soapbox on the back of Daniel, Giovanni on the back of Cairo, and of course Casper just about holding on to the back of Lifeboat here for the race lead. Ooh, actually Lifeboat has just somehow managed to pull a bit of a gap through 130R, and that is big because now Casper does not have DRS. He has lost out on it. And that is huge because now that puts Casper in the firing line for Cairo and Giovanni and Daniel to get through as Fraser gets through on his teammate Oshin for P7. Oshin on those medium tyres. I thought early on these tyres would be a little bit better than the hards, but doesn't look like that is the case for the likes of Oshin and Sieb. They've been struggling to get their way up the order. Casper on those softs definitely made his way up the order pretty quickly, but right now he just hasn't had the pace to pull away from these guys on the hard tyres. Casper has used every bit of VRS possible to try and keep with Lifeboat. Lifeboat has 50%. Casper has less than 10. So Lifeboat has every opportunity to use and pull away, and that's exactly what he's doing. He is using a bit, he is pulling away. So obviously we do have some engineers in the chat keeping an eye on all of this action right now. And of course checking to see what the ERS is saying for everyone. As you see, Cairo also putting on his ERS to close up as well. Casper needs a good Casio triangle here if he wants to hold on to DRS, but I think he's just fallen outside of it, and he has. So now here comes Cairo. Can Cairo get this job done? And he is up into P2. It's an 88.12 once again. And Soapbox still unable to get through on Daniel. Meanwhile, Sieb splitting the WOR drivers now in P8. As Sieb gets through on Oshin. Oshin with a 3 second time penalty. Could be in a bit of trouble. Miguel as Miguel, we just gone aboard him. Big loss here for Miguel as he gets a big snap in the S's. And that is going to cost him a huge amount of time. Mika losing hand over fist, so is Liam here, so I'm wondering any major damage here as Giovanni is trying to get this move done on Casper as they are side by side approaching Spoon Curve. Giovanni now will get that position. Obviously, has a bit more ERS to play with, does the NLR development driver. So, able to get that move done, able to get himself up the order. And it is job done for Giovanni Casper. Able to come back at him there on the run into 130 yard, but maybe could have a little peek down the inside into the Casio triangle. Does not want to risk it. So now Casper beginning to fall away. Does he come into the pits? No, he stays out. And what is Daniel doing? Daniel taking an absolutely wide line through the final corner there. And that, I'm surprised he's actually still able to go for this move as he's down the inside into turn 1. I thought he would have lost time there because he did clip the grass. How has Daniel managed that one right there? I don't know. You guys will have to explain to me how Daniel has managed that one, because I thought he was going to be on the grass, losing time and potentially lose a spot to Soapbox. Never mind overtaking Casper. But Daniel now up into P4. ET8 currently have P1, P2 and P4 in terms of their drivers right now. NLR development currently with Giovanni in P3, and of course the other two drivers of Miguel and Liam down in 11th and 12th. IRT currently have one of their drivers up in P5 with Casper, who should be making a pit stop relatively soon. And of course Casper's teammates in Seb and Mika in 8th and 10th place respectfully, so they're quite some way down the order. But the good thing for Oshin, who is representing WOR here tonight, as Daniel makes a move on Giovanni up into P3 as, oh, Giovanni there absolutely losing it, and what's going on there? Absolutely missed his turning in point, and I am not entirely sure what's going on with Giovanni. There was talks about engine glitches that was going on earlier in the chat. And one of these drivers are dealing with engine glitches that are going on. Obviously the engine sound being quite crucial, allowing you to know when you need to be upshifting. But yeah, we're seeing a fair few mistakes coming out right now as Giovanni's in the pits early, and he's going to put on a set of fresh mediums. I'm not sure what happened there with Giovanni, but loses out a lot of time and falls well down the order. Soapbox now promoted up into P4. So now at the back of the grid we have the three NLR drivers. Of course, WOR having Soapbox now up in P4. Fraser up into P6, almost within 1 second of Casper. And you'd expect at this point for him to have the grip to be able to get within that 1 second here. And then of course we have Oshin on the back of Seb for P7. Of course Oshin down in P8 as it currently stands. As Giovanni has retired from the session, that is in the essence, will it trigger any form of safety car or virtual safety car? That is the question. Lap 11 of 27. We have our first retiree, and he is still moving on track, so I'm wondering, has he lost it, damaged his front wing and just retired on track? That is the question. Not ideal if you are NLR, but of course that does mean that there is more points on the table if you do get to the checker flag now. I believe it's 9 points now if you see the checker flag, as Oshin gets through on Seb. Up into P7 goes the WOR driver, and back up towards the front. ET8 1, 2, 3 here. Giovanni leaving the session. Lifeboat, Cairo and Daniel leading the way, first, second and third. Soapbox on the back of them with the best opportunity to try and get himself in amongst it with the ET8 drivers. And then of course you got Casper on worn soft tyres, doing a very good job keeping with these guys so far. Obviously those softs are going to begin to fall away. They should be falling away anyway. And of course you can see Fraser just about getting within that DRS window as well. So Fraser is coming into the mix also. Oshin about 2.5 seconds back off the back of his teammate Fraser, but of course he does have Sieb to contend with for P7, the IRT driver. And of course we've got Mika in a bit of a no man's land right now. He's currently being hunted down by Miguel in P10 as we got the first group of pit stops coming through right now, and it's going to be Casper, Daniel and Oshin. So Daniel going for a set of the medium compound tyres. Will we see mediums going for everyone else? Oshin going for a set of hards, and it's mediums for Casper. So Casper going for a soft medium strategy. And it's going to be interesting. In fact, he's managed to get himself ahead of Daniel here. So Casper with a fantastic pit window has got himself ahead of Daniel. And with Miguel directly in front of him, it could be an opportunity for Casper to try and get away from Daniel here. Obviously getting through ahead of Miguel, leaving Daniel to try and follow his way through as soon as possible. But that might not work out well for him. But it is important for both of these drivers to get through on Miguel ASAP, because as it currently stands, they need to get this undercut working on the legs of Lifeboat, on the legs of Cryo, on the legs of Soapbox. As Miguel has actually been overtaken by both Casper and Daniel, and it looked like it was on the exit of the second deck now. We seem to be missing a lot of these overtakes down towards the back, looking at battles elsewhere. It is unfortunate, but sometimes it does happen, especially when you are solo commentating, because usually you got a second pair of eyes to keep you up close with the battle, but fortunately not to be here tonight as Daniel gets through on Casper. Let's see if Daniel and Casper are going to be able to get the jump on Cryo, Soapbox and Fraser in the pits. All of them going for a set of the medium compound tyres. So they'll be equal in terms of the tyre that they are on, but of course Daniel and Casper's will be one lap more worn as they come out of the pit lane now, and Daniel just about ahead of Cryo, and Casper gets through as well. So big there for Casper. Look at that, up ahead Daniel around the outside, turns to the inside in the exit. Fantastic stuff from the ETA driver. Going to get himself up into P3. And with a bit of fresh air, as it is an IRT disaster right now, because Casper getting held up by Mika, his IRT teammate, and now he needs Mika to do a solid job for him in the back. Needs to make sure that he can hold up the legs of Cryo and Soapbox to allow Casper to get away here, but it's not going to work because here comes Cryo down the inside, and that could potentially allow Soapbox an opportunity here. Will Soapbox will get a job done, as well as he's going to use a bit of battery to come through on Mika as they are side by side in the spoon curve, and Soapbox through up into P6. But now Lifeboat into the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out. Cryo is around about a second off the back of Casper. Needs to get within that 1 second window if he wants DRS, otherwise it's going to be a sitting duck to Soapbox here. As Daniel and Casper look set to trade positions here for should be P2 on track, because you've got Lifeboat in the pit lane right now. I believe Lifeboat is going to come up behind these two. Yes, he is. A Soapbox. Soapbox, is he going to be close enough to go for a move on Lifeboat here? No, he has to stick in behind. Soapbox and WR all over the back now of ETA Lifeboat, as Casper somehow lost the position back on Daniel. So not good there for Casper whatsoever. Lap 15 of 27. Sieb currently leads the way, yet to make a pit stop. And then of course we got Daniel, who's the net race leader, ahead of Casper, who's net P2. Lifeboat net P3. Soapbox net P4. Cairo net P5. Fraser in a net P6. And then of course we got Oshin on the set of the hards in a net P7. And Mika in a net P8. And Mika also yet to make a pit stop as well. I should bring that up also. So the top 7 in a DRS train with each other, but unfortunately for Oshin, a 3-second time penalty will hinder his chances in this race. Unfortunately for NLR, one driver out of the race so far, and it is of course Giovanni, who was right up there towards the top end of the field. Big mistake in the 130R for some reason. We do not know the reason why, but that mistake led to making an early pit stop, and then of course losing it in the S's did not help him either. I tell you what, Lifeboat, Soapbox and Cryo coming in a good position in terms of the ERS right now. Obviously nearly 90% on Lifeboat, and of course you got 75 for both Soapbox and Cryo. So both of these two very even on ERS. Lifeboat in a commanding position on ERS. Then of course Daniel seems to have used the most in this train so far. It's coming down below 40, and then of course you got Casper on around 55%, same as Fraser in P7. Oshin appears to be falling away, and of course he is quite low on his ERS as well. So Oshin, I don't think it's going to be closing up to these guys once again, but he is on for a good P7 result as it currently stands. And Fraser picks up a 3-second time penalty, so there goes a chance of Fraser getting himself up the order. But here comes Lifeboat. Lifeboat using his battery, trying to get through, but he's not close enough. But he will have a little look around the outside. Oh, a little bit of a touch here between the pair of them, but both of them make it through without any calamities. And with Sieb in the pits now, out of the way, Daniel is now the race leader. On board with Soapbox, who's on around 90% ERS, and he could be a danger man in this race for the ETA drivers. But of course, Casper right now, obviously he's around about 50%, but he is using that to close up the Daniel, because now Lifeboat is beginning to use a bit. But Lifeboat is being clever about where he uses it. He wants to get this overtake done, he wants to get it done ASAP, but he's not going to go for any silly moves, is Lifeboat. So let's see what the ETA driver is going to do here. He's on the ERS, he's closing in rapidly, he's going to get through on Casper around the outside in towards turn number 1. As ETA Lifeboat is going to try and hold it all the way around the outside, but unfortunately does not get the traction on the exit of turn 2 to take that position. So Casper able to hold on to P2 for the time being, but Lifeboat there beginning to knock on the door and test the IRT Academy driver. As Fraser and Oshin, Oshin definitely falling away from the pack up ahead. Could be under pressure from Sieb pretty soon in terms of that 3 seconds. In fact, Sieb could potentially get himself a P6 out of this, because of course Fraser also has a 3-second time penalty, so let's keep that in mind come later into the race. But right now the battle up at the front is beginning to intrigue. Soapbox is the man with the most ERS to play with here. He is under a bit of pressure from Cryo in behind as he is closing up through these corners, but not close enough to make the move. But look at Lifeboat now. Lifeboat in the slipstream, absolutely flying up to the rear wing of Casper. Casper's going to hold the inside, so Lifeboat has to stick in behind. But a good run out of the final corner here, and Lifeboat could be once again looking for an overtake on Casper. And Casper not using his ERS, and that means that he's, oh, a little bit of contact there between Casper and Daniel in turn 2. is there any wing damage on the IRT driver's car? As they come through turn 2, a little bit of contact there between Casper and Daniel. Any front wing damage for the Williams car? Not visually from what I can see, but we'll have to wait and see in terms of these corners and if Daniel is gaining massively here. Everyone bunching up as we go into the hairpin. Daniel is holding around half a second gap right now. Soapbox closing up to Lifeboat. Lap 19 of 27. Daniel leads the way for ET8 Academy. Casper in P2 for IRT Academy. Lifeboat P3 for ET8 Academy. Soapbox for WR Academy in P4 as Lifeboat there actually getting a fantastic run out of Spoon, gets the move done on Casper. Up into P2 goes the ET8 Academy driver, and let's see if Casper is going to try and respawn here down the DRS straight. He's on the battery. Is he going to look for a double overtake here? Oh, here goes Casper. He's going to make a free wide in towards turn 1. He's on the inside. And he's got himself into the race lead as he goes a little bit deep through turn 1, and it allows Casper and Lifeboat there. So close to calamities, but Casper gets the race lead. Fantastic stuff from Casper, able to get a double overtake there. Fantastic move from the IRT Academy driver. Lifeboat there trying to come back and then through turn 2. Little bit of contact between the pair of them, and it almost ended in calamity there with Casper almost losing it, and effectively would have wiped Lifeboat out as well, but Lifeboat and Casper able to navigate that without any issues. But now Casper in a bit of a sticky situation as he'll now be the man without DRS down the main straight, and he could be a sitting duck here for Lifeboat as all 3 NLR drivers retire from the race. Lifeboat closing up to the back of Casper, but not looking to make a move. Potentially could look down the inside into the Casio triangle. He does look down the inside into the Casio triangle. They're side by side, and I think Lifeboat will get... Oh! That's Soapbox going off in the back. Soapbox in the back going off as we go through to begin lap 20. 1 of 27 as Daniel now and Lifeboat there going around each side of Casper. Casper trying to fight back from Daniel as we saw Soapbox here absolutely drop it as Fraser is now through on Cairo. They're side by side in the S's. It has all kicked off at the end of this race. Soapbox losing out massively here. He was looking so good for a potential podium, but it has fallen away from the WR driver. And with the likes of Fraser and Oshin having 3-second time penalties, it is looking like it's either going to be an ET8 podium, all 3 drivers being ET8 Academy drivers, or it's going to be an IRT driver spoiling the party for ET8. We are going to find out. Lap 21 of 27. Lifeboat leads Casper for IRT in P2. Has Daniel and Cairo in P3 and P4 for ET8. Fraser currently in the battle. He is in P5. He's in the train, but he has a 3-second time penalty to his name. Then of course we have Oshin for WR. Going to be under pressure from Sieb very soon, in my opinion. Then Soapbox at WR. It's unfortunate what happened with Soapbox. It has unfortunately fallen away from him on the exit of the Casio Triangle, and down the order he tumbles to P8. All 3 NLR drivers retiring from the session here tonight, and not good if you're an NLR driver, not good if you're an NLR supporter either, because effectively, I mean, 27 points have been thrown away effectively by NLR here tonight. Potentially 28 points have been thrown away because they could have gone for the fastest lap at the end of the race as well. But, I mean, you've got to get to the checker flag. Even if you're having a bad race, just continue on. Get to the checker flag, get your points. Because you never know when they could come in handy later on in the season. Lifeboat though, nice 7/10 gap to Casper. Casper trying to use a bit of ERS to come back at him. And with that, Daniel has to respond, use a bit of ERS himself. As Cryo in P4, sitting pretty comfy right now. Obviously, he's got his teammate ahead of him. He knows if he has to pace on Daniel, Daniel will probably move over and let him through. But knows in terms of the threat behind him, knows that Fraser has a time penalty, as does Oshin. So there's not a huge amount of threat behind as Casper closes up through turn 1, but not close enough to go for an overtake. Lap 23 of 27. Lifeboat leads the way. Casper in P2, Daniel in P3. Cryo in P4, Fraser in P5, Oshin in P6, Sieg in P7, Soapbox in P8, a little bit of a wiggle there coming out of the Dunlop curve, and Mika in P9. 3 retirees so far, and they are the NLR trio of Miguel, Liam and Giovanno. Just 4 more racing laps to go around Suzuka. Will Lifeboat hold on to the race win? Will Casper be able to get ahead of him here? Is the question. We're about to begin lap 24 of 27. There will be 4 racing laps remaining in this race. Let's see if Casper's going to overtake for the race lead here. The DRS is activated. He's not using his battery. He's going to go down the inside. Job done there for Casper, as you would expect. Both Casper and Lifeboat almost even in terms of ERS usage. Casper around about 5% better off right now. Daniel on 57% with 59% for Cryo. And 79% for Fraser in P5. Now Sieg almost within that 1 second window of Oshin here. And let's not forget, only a second and a half up the road from Oshin is the ability to jump within the 3-second penalty of Fraser. So Sieg potentially does have the opportunity to climb up into P5 here for IRT, which would be a fantastic result for them. Daniel closing up to Lifeboat. Lifeboat closing up to Casper, but Casper getting a slightly better mid part of the spoon curve, but Lifeboat getting a little bit of better exit as we run down towards 130R. Into the Casio triangle we go as we cross the line to begin lap number 25. Lifeboat should be retaking the race lead in just a moment, but will we see Daniel take a hold of P2 as well? In fact, no, Lifeboat's backing out. Lifeboat is more than happy to sit behind Casper and time this. ET8 using a bit of tactics right here tonight, not willing to go for the overtake on Casper at the start of lap 25. They're going to wait for the opportunity to strike. And we are seeing Daniel now under a bit of pressure from his ET8 teammate in behind of Cryo. And we're going to see if they're going to battle, because I mean, they probably shouldn't, but you never know. They might give us a little bit of a show, a little bit of an inter-team battle by here. Maybe they want to fight for the race win here tonight. Lap 25. We're going to have 2 more laps in this race. Will Casper be able to hold on? Lifeboat has lifted off on the previous lap to avoid overtaking Casper. So Lifeboat potentially will do the same on this lap as well. And in fact, he's actually going to use his ERS. He's actually going to go for it this time around. So Lifeboat going to go for the race lead, and he could be followed through with his teammate. In fact, no, he backs out of it. So Lifeboat's going to wait to the end. He's going to wait for the final lap to go for this overtake. And I think Casper knows that as well. I mean, he was kind of hoping that Lifeboat overtook him here. Oh, Casper getting a big snap in the S's. And that has absolutely dropped him well down the order. And is he going to be off the podium here as he's down the inside? Cairo gets actually a little bit shoved off there by Fraser for the second Degner. But Cairo there having a little look down the inside of Casper into the first Degner. Very brave opportunity there from Cairo. But it didn't work out for him, and because of it, he got overtaken by Fraser. And look at Casper now, trying to get his way through. A little bit of a tap on the rear. Casper now trying to get himself back up into P2. Daniel using his ERS to try and make sure that it is going to be an ETA driver taking victory here. But look at this now. As we approach 130R, around the outside goes Casper, and he'll get P2 away from Daniel. But now, let's see if Casper is going to be able to get this done. Lifeboat does have more ERS to play with, and a big snap at the rear from Casper. That might just be enough to give Lifeboat the breathing space that he needs. Fraser side by side with Daniel in behind. It doesn't look like Casper's close enough to go for a move here, but Fraser down the inside of Daniel, and he's got himself up into the final podium position. And he is now in a decent spot on track, but with that 3-second time penalty, he will drop back to 5th. Sieb has managed to get through on Oshin, and of course, being 4.7 off the back of Crowell, it is unlikely that he will be able to catch Fraser for his 3-second time penalty. But all eyes on the battle for the race win. Lifeboat and Casper. Casper making a few mistakes here in the closing stages of this race, and it has come to cost him. He has dropped down the order. He's had to use all of his ERS to try and get himself back into P2 and to get himself back into contention. But with 50% ERS, it shouldn't be a competition now. Lifeboat should have the ERS to pull away from Casper here, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see, as Lifeboat will hold on to the race lead here. And as we come into the Casio Triangle for the final time here in the Esports Masters League Academy tier, it is going to be Lifeboat who takes victory here for ET8 Academy. Casper comes home in P2 for IRT Academy, and of course Daniel completing the podium for ET8 Academy. Cairo in P4 for ET8 Academy, and of course we got the 3 WOR drivers of Fraser, Soapbox and Oshin, as Sieb somehow Sieb has gone back behind Oshin there for some reason. I think Sieb might have made a mistake somewhere, but yeah, Oshin comes through in P7. Sieb, unfortunate for him, but it is going to be P8 and of course P9 for Mika. And yeah, I mean, I thought Sieb was going to get P6 here tonight, but it wasn't to be for the IRT Academy driver. Casper getting driver of the day from the in-game fans, and to be fair, I kind of agree with it. He went for the soft medium strategy, so he was on the softs early on, carved his way through the field quickly and effectively, and got himself into a battle for the race lead. And then of course he did make a mistake which cost him potentially the race win, but he managed to get himself back up onto the podium for IRT, and I think that's a fantastic result for Casper and IRT Academy. Lifeboat, though, has been absolutely impervious this race. It's been absolutely fantastic. Not much in terms of anything you can nitpick out of Lifeboat's race here. So it's going to be an interesting one. But I mean, I'll give it to Lifeboat because he did get the pole position as well as the race win and didn't make a mistake out there. But let's run you through the order one more time. It is Lifeboat who takes victory ahead of Casper in P2, Daniel in P3 with Cryo in P4. And of course, P5 is Fraser with P6 going to Soapbox, Oshin in P7 with Steve in P8, and Mika in P9 with the fastest lap. And then of course our three DNFs here, all three NLR drivers of Miguel, Liam and Giovanno. So ET8 walk away from this race with a fantastic points haul with a P1, P3 and P4 collection there for the ET8 Academy teams. IRT walking away with a P2, P8 and P9 result here tonight. And of course WOR walking away with a P5, P6 and P7 result. And of course the NLR development team unfortunately not getting a single point as all three drivers are out of this race. And I tell you what, that does bring an end to what was a very interesting race here at Suzuka. A lot of mind games at the end coming from the ET8 drivers, really picking their opportunity to kind of go through there, and obviously that one mistake from Casper cost him the potential for the race win because he had to use all of his battery to get back up to P2, but it was a well-deserved podium for Casper. But massive congratulations to Lifeboat and congratulations to Casper and Daniel on the podium, and of course the ET8 with the fantastic result here tonight. Of course, guys, we will be back on League Racing TV in around about 45 minutes time as we have F1 and F2, and of course taking you through the action in F1 will be James Head and Indigo, so make sure you guys go ahead and show some love over there for F1 with James Head and Indigo. And of course in F2 Leslie the Twig is back, and of course he's being joined by Freefall in F2. Both of those races begin at 8 p.m. on the League Racing TV channel, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But until then, guys, I have been Ivor Bin Mike, and we'll catch you next week. In fact, let's have a look at the calendar. Next week we will be going to the Belgian Grand Prix, so I'll catch you next week for round number 4 at Belgium. Until then, guys, goodbye.